Hello and welcome back to Mocha Says. Today we're going to be talking about Real Housewives of Rhode Island. Really good episode. Let's get into it. So they start the show off and they're doing the little montages of the different housewives. Let me tell you something. Liz's cat, that huge fat cat called Biggie Smalls. I was like, oh my goodness. I don't know if they showed that cat before, but I was like, oh my gosh, look at that cat. It's like a butterball. But yeah. And then, so Alicia, she goes on a drive with the husband. She's now going to have to drop her daughter off to school. So I guess they're just taking a drive to the school so she can know the route and get used to the route. And Alicia is telling her husband about their trip and how she didn't really like how Liz was disagreeing with Alicia when she said that she was homeless in her childhood for a period of time. And I mean, yeah, she just said she didn't like that, but I can understand why she said she was homeless, because technically she was homeless. She wasn't on the street, but she was homeless. She didn't have her own home. And then she was saying how she told her husband how there was this video of Rula's husband that Joe had, and very incriminating. And Joe wants Alicia to be the one to present it to Rula. And she's saying how she just doesn't want that. She doesn't want to break the girl. She feels like it's cruel. Honestly, I feel like this Rula storyline with her husband is really good for the show. But in real life, I feel like they need to leave her alone. Because if Rula likes the man, I mean, you like the man, I love the man for you. You know what I mean? You like it, I love it. So I just feel like Rula knows he cheated on her. And if she wanted confirmation that he was still cheating on her, is clearly out there, and she would go seek it, but she's not. So, I mean, whatever. I'm here for the ride. I'm just eating my popcorn, enjoying the ride. But in real life, I feel like they should leave Rula alone. And so we stopped by Rosie's house. Rosie and her husband. Her husband is outside working on the house extension, and they bring their dog out. She brings the dog out. And Rosie is barefoot. She's in this cute athleisure dress. I actually want that dress, but that dog starts crapping in the yard, and Rosie's out there barefoot. I'm like, girl, put some shoes on, put some socks on, or at least flip-flops. But she goes and puts her little bouncy shoes on, and they go on a walk. Her and her husband go on a quick walk, and she is telling him about how pretty much about Kelsey and how she's been coming for her, talking about her house. And he's saying it's all projection. And he's telling her you need to stand up for yourself. They're just going to keep doing it if you let them. So he's telling her to stand up for herself. So Kelsey is getting settled into her new apartment. And it looks spacious. We didn't get to see the whole thing, but it has upstairs and downstairs. It's giving loft style. And yeah, I mean, it looks like a spacious apartment for what it is. So her mom and her sister come over, and they're helping her put furniture together, I guess get the place together. And they ask, who's paying your rent? Or they ask, how much is the rent? And she doesn't know because her ex is paying it. And they're like, oh, really? Okay, why didn't you tell us? I mean, I don't know why she would need to tell you. And also, thank God. I think that it's great he's paying her rent. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't think that's a big deal. Pay my bills as long as I can. They're like, don't you want to be financially independent from him? And I think she can build her financial independence with him still paying her bills. Because he pays a few other bills as well. So yeah, I don't see a problem with the man paying her bills for now. So I don't know. So her other boyfriend number 2, who's now her sole boyfriend, comes over, and he has a toolbox. He's going to help her put together stuff and get her place together. And yeah, they're talking about Rosie getting a new car, and Kelsey says that he wants her to get a new car because her ex pays her car note or car insurance or something like that. And I'm just like, look, are you going to cover her bill for a car? Like, if you're not going to do that, move out the way, honey, and let him put the money in the bank, okay? Like, I don't know. Period. Like, let the man pay your bills. So, yeah, they're just doing that. And then we stopped by Ashley, and Ashley is with her son. He is good. He had a cold-induced asthma, so I guess asthma attack or something like that. I don't know. Cold-induced asthma is what she said. So he's feeling good, and she's with her friend. She has to film some content. And she's saying how she wishes her husband would pour more into his social media because he already has a large following. And if he was to do that, she knows for a fact he would make significantly more than their coffee shop brings in. And so I think that is a good idea. He can do it on the side, like do a little social media on the side, still keep your coffee shop going because it's something he seems to be passionate about. And it seems to be bringing in some kind of money. So, I mean, that could be like his little passion thing. And then social media could be the main thing. I think that's a good idea. I wonder why her husband is so opposed. Interesting. But, yeah, so that's that. Jo Ellen, she stops by her grandpa's old house. There's no one in there. No one lives in there currently. Her mom and sister stop by, and they're just walking through the house, talking about old memories. And they also sit down on their porch, the front door porch, and look at pictures. And throughout this time, the mom and Joellen, they start throwing like little digs at each other, like little fun digs at each other, but like not really, especially from Joellen's side, since, you know, she has that mother wound from her mom, and how she treated her when she was a kid growing up or a teenager. And so, yeah, they're like having like little banter back and forth on the patio while they're looking at pictures about their childhood and their mom-daughter dynamic. But like the mom quickly realizes that Joellen is like being serious when she says these things. She starts crying and she's like, you were mean, like you should have been a better mom when you taught me how to be kind and all these things and respectful, because now I'm not. And she starts crying and she's like, oh my gosh. And her mom's like, you were out of control as a kid. She was like, out of control. What did I do? Tell me what specifically. And she was like, the lies. She was like, lying about what? What are you talking about? She was like, boys? And she's like, yeah. And she's like, that's what teenagers do. You sent me somewhere with people who had stabbed people, like who were doing hard drugs, you know, people who did these big crimes, and I did none of that ever. So, you know, she's like, I tried. Her mom even starts to cry at one point, and she's like, I was trying to be nice. I mean, did love you. I was trying to show it, but if I didn't show it, then that's just because that's how I was raised. And her mom talks about how when her mom was younger, her mom, Joanna's grandmother, her mom was like running and she hit her eye on the corner of some kind of furniture and she was bleeding all over the place. And the mom had no concern whatsoever for her injured daughter, who had to end up getting 6 stitches on her face. She was more concerned about the carpet she just had cleaned, or the floor she just had cleaned. So she's saying that it's just something that's been passed down. Joanna says, you know, you said I was out of control and bipolar, and I wasn't. I was just definitely depressed as a kid. Her mom said she was just an overwhelmed mother, and it's like a generational cycle. But they end up forgiving each other and say they'll work on their relationship. They hung it out, tell each other they love each other. And yeah, one thing, the way Joanna speaks, I have to call this out, because it's like when she talks, it's like she's talking, but she's trying to hold her words in when she's talking, which is so weird. And it seems hard to do because she's literally willingly talking, but it's like when she's talking, she's trying to hold the words in her throat at the same time. It's like a variation of vocal fry. Anyways, it's sort of annoying, but it's okay. All right, so Liz and Dolores, they're meeting up at Liz and her husband's cannabis dispensary facility. They're going to be working on a menopause gummy that is going to be meant to help relieve women from menopausal symptoms. I love that idea. That's pretty cool. I wonder like how that actually works. Like, is it really work or, yeah, I'm curious about that, but that's pretty cool. And so they're they try the gummy out, say it tastes delicious. And they're talking about how there are different kinds of, menopause symptoms that they dealt with. And it honestly sounds like suffering. Like that's something I'm very concerned about for when I get older, the menopause. But yeah, it sounds like it's a rough thing to go through. So, cool on them for that. And then we go to Rula's house, and her husband are prepping because they're going to have Alicia and her husband. And I just realized that's not her husband. That's her long-term boyfriend. Okay. So this guy, I totally forgot that he is like totally disrespecting Alicia by not letting her be on the deed and not marrying her. And not, I think there was talk of a prenup or something. I don't know what. Anyways, mainly him being on the deed and her having to like ask him for money and stuff like that. I'm like, this guy seems so nice. And I just remembered this on his actions. And I'm like, that says something about your character. Like, how could that man who seems so nice not give that woman what she's asking for? That's so odd to me. So anyways, I totally forgot about that just because of the way this guy presents is so nice. Even like how he interacts with Alicia is so nice. Like he's very kind, attentive. He's like joking, smile on his face. I'm like, okay, why aren't you giving this woman what she's asking for? And it's very reasonable. Very odd to me. But I remembered that. And I was like, wait, this is not Alicia's husband, actually. He's her long-term boyfriend. Anyways. So yeah, so they sit down and they're eating and everything and they're at dinner and, Alicia just doesn't have it in her to tell Rula about the video. She doesn't have it in her at all. Rula's husband seems a little off. He's talking about how he's taken I guess he does Botox at his office, and he said how he's taking, like, he takes the Botox, he takes a little bit of, like Ozempic and then a little bit of steroids. Like he said he microdoses all the things since he has them. He just takes them on whatever he wants to in microdoses. I don't know. He seems a little off, that guy, but maybe it's because he's like just super nerdy or something. I don't know. He's an interesting character. Oh my God. And then Alicia asks how Rula and her husband met, and he tells a story. They were out and he saw her, I guess, at a bar, and he sat next to her and she was getting a shot, and he was like, make it a double for her. And he got a single, and he was like, and that worked out great. And it was just like that from there. It was us from there. And I'm like, okay, sir, that does not seem like a nice way to tell. You need to switch it up. Tell us some other way, because that sounds a little predatory. It does. Yeah. All right, so here comes Kelsey. She's driving up to Rosie's house. Rosie's giving her another chance to cut her hair. And she agrees to post on social media. But Kelsey's sort of messing this up because she's like on the phone with her boyfriend. She's like, we're in a good place. We made up now. So I'm just going to make a little joke and, act like I'm house police when I pull up, lighthearted. We're there. We're good now. So we can joke like that. No, you can't, girl. No, you can't. So she pulls up to the house. She has the sirens blasting like she's the house police. She pulls up. She's like, house police here, house police here. 8,000 square foot home, more like 8,000 or 800 inches. And Rosie, she has her plans on her table at home to show Rosie, like, oh, if you want to examine the footage, this is the proof. These are the blueprints. But she's sitting there. She tells her boyfriend or husband that she's about to come over, so he lets her go. And she hears the sirens from Kelsey, and she's like, what is that? She goes outside, and Kelsey is like, I was just making a joke. I just had to, bust your balls a little bit. And she's like, Rosie is so confused. She's like, what? Okay. And so you know, clearly Rosie still has distrust towards Kelsey. She's open to working on something, but she doesn't trust that girl. It's too soon. Too soon. Too much too soon. So she comes in the house. They both come in the house. And Rosie's like, well, I have my plans here. I was going to say you could look at them. And she's like, what is the deal anyways with my square footage? Like, what's going on? And she's like, look, I was just joking, Rosie. It was a lighthearted joke, you know, laugh a little. And she's like, well, I actually don't think that's funny. And she's putting the blueprint away, and she turns around. She's like, where's your home? And so this is where it starts. Because Rosie is like, she's had enough. Her boyfriend already gave her that pep talk earlier and told her to bite back if they come at her. She's had enough. And she already doesn't trust the girl. And then she makes this joke, which sets her off, just brings her back into the past and what they just squashed. Ooh, Lordy. So Rosie, she starts to drag, honey. She's dragging Kelsey from every nook and cranny and corner of her property, dragging her for filth, and Kelsey is gagged. Kelsey is like in shock. You know, she went in there, she really thought this was gonna be a joke, but it was really bad judgment on her part, because that did not go over well with Kelsey. They're not at that point that she thought that they were at all. Kelsey is going in, telling her she's nothing. She's saying that she wouldn't have won the pageant if it wasn't for her ex paying off the judges. She's saying she has no career, no anything. She's saying she's a loser in life. And she grabs the girl's suitcase with her makeup and stuff in it. And they're like having a little tug and war at the stairs. Rosie snatches it out of Kelsey's hand, brings it downstairs outside and throws it in the driveway. And Kelsey, she goes downstairs after her suitcase, and they're still arguing with each other. So Kelsey is at the doorway, and then Rosie tries to close the door in her face. Actually does close it in her face, but she almost like slams her fingers in the door. And then finally production comes in and like pulls Rosie away from the door. And they're messy because the production opened the door back up. And Kelsey turns around and goes, by the way, Rosie, I won that pageant fair and square, and I don't suck, D for a living. And I'm like, girl, just go home. Like, that really struck a chord with her, because she really went in and said, by the way, Rosie, I won the pageant fair and square. Out of everything she said, she had to correct that. She corrected the sucking D for a living part too, but I was like, girl, just go home. I mean, imagine that phone call when she called her boyfriend back and told him that did not go well, that she didn't even get to cut her hair. Like, I wish we would have been able to see that, because I bet he was like, whoa, like the turn of events. Yeah, that's crazy. I'm really can't wait for the next episode. Let me know what you guys think. Leave a comment down below. Comment, like, subscribe. And I'll see you guys next time. Thank you. Bye.